What it do, YouTube? It's your boy TC3 Reacts back again with another reaction. And today, we're going to go ahead and jump back into the Iceberg realm. If you don't know already, I'm not going to explain it. Somebody probably in the video will explain it because I don't feel like doing any of that shit anyway. We're going to react to cartoon episodes that traumatize children. I don't know about you guys, but me, I like cartoons. I love watching them. I hate reality TV. Can't get behind what other people in real life are doing because I want to escape my own horrible real fucking life. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into this reaction. If you guys haven't done it already, I'm not going to say it. If you've been around this channel long enough, as long as we've been dropping freaking videos, you should already know what the fuck to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Come on, join the team. Come join the TC3 mob. Let's go ahead and get into it though.
Loved doing was watching TV, getting up early to watch Saturday morning cartoons or late at night to watch whatever was playing. These cartoons gave us dreams, expectations, and most of all, permanent memories. Though, some shows push the boundaries, causing us to remember the more disturbing side of said cartoon. Today, we will be talking about cartoon episodes that traumatized children.
Wow.
Pingu's Dream. Pingu. Pingu was a Swiss-British stop-motion claymation children's show created by Otmar Gutmann in 1987. The main character is a penguin called Pingu who lives in the South Pole along with his family and friends. The show aired on BBC.
Is this that penguin I keep saying that be doing that? Shit, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know, but I think I've seen this.
Children's and Education, and episodes averaged 5 minutes in length. Today, we will be talking about Season 1, Episode 26. Pingu's Dream. The episode starts off as normal, nothing out of the ordinary. Pingu's mom is reading him a bedtime story and Pingu begins to drift away to sleep. He wakes up to the sound of his igloo jumping and before you know it, the igloo flies away. Then his bed extends its legs and it begins walking. The camera cuts to this creepy walrus watching Pingu in his bed go about their day. Not to mention that every time the walrus pops up, these synths are played, it just gives you some uneasy feeling. What's up with things involving walruses being creepy? Like, what the directors keep showing the audience how the walrus is just watching Pingu. Eventually, the walrus makes his introduction. And you know how the directors made this already creepy character make his introduction to children? This is how. It's clear to see that the walrus is supposed to have this like goofy personality that finds everything funny and just wants to play. But they really messed up by making him almost human-like. The walrus begins messing with Pingu and eats his bed, all while non-stop laughing. Pingu and his bed begin running away and Pingu ends up falling down a hill of snow. It was actually a pretty cool transition because the next camera zooms out and you can see that he's in his room again. The episode ends with Pingu crying and his mother consulting him. Yes. That's how this episode ends. Not only is this the ending to the episode, but this was actually the season finale. This episode was highly controversial and was eventually banned from television due to the giant walrus being too scary and unsettling for many young viewers. The creator Otmar Gutmann actually used the same walrus model in a German short film he made years prior. This caught me off guard because the voice he used for the walrus is so unexpected. Here, I'll just play the clip.
Dass wir unsere Kundschaft ernst nehmen, das zeigt sich durch Produktraumgestaltung der Kommunikationsräume. Schauen Sie sich mal um.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on the list.
Yeah. That was a good one though.
Blue Cat Blues, Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry need no introduction. I'm 100% sure everyone watching this video knows exactly who these two are. Blue Cat Blues is about Tom's love for a female cat which doesn't love him back. The video begins with a quote by Jerry's narrator while watching Tom sit on the train tracks patiently waiting for the train to come by. The quote is, "Poor Tom, in a few minutes it'll all be over, and for the first time since he met her, he'll be happy. Poor, miserable, lovesick creature. I suppose people will say I should have helped him, I know. But it's better this way." Talk about a kid's show getting dark. Throughout the episode, we see just how much Tom is in love with this cat and how he is overthrown by another cat by the name of Mr. Butch. The cat with more money, more gifts, a better car. Tom resorts to drinking milk, which in this episode is a substitute for alcohol. Tom is seen sliding down a gutter until Jerry saves him. They get splashed by some water and come to find out it's Mr. Butch and the love of Tom's life riding away in his car with a just married sign. After this, the same thing happens to Jerry as his girlfriend is riding away with another mouse. Jerry brings himself down to the train tracks, sits next to Tom, and both patiently wait for the train to pass by. The episode ends with the haunting horn of a train.
Wow.
This episode,
I remember that episode too, man. I remember that episode and I watched it as a kid. And what's crazy is in my mind, I didn't correlate that with, I didn't even put those pieces together. I didn't put the milk being alcohol together. I didn't even think, I think I knew he was upset about the girl being like going off with another person, but I didn't think he was committing. I thought he was just sitting on the tracks just being sad. And the train coming is wow. Like talk about dark.
Episode was banned by Cartoon Network and Boomerang due to its references to alcohol and. Also, I just want to clear up a common misconception, and that is that this is actually the finale to the series. It's not. Man's Best Friend, Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy ran on Nickelodeon from 1991 to 1996 and focused on a sociopathic chihuahua and a clueless cat. This show got away with so much shit, it's actually scary. Season 2, episode 4 opens up with a man by the name of George Liquor adopting Ren and Stimpy at a pet store. Once he takes them home, he puts them through a bunch of rigorous tasks to see if they can keep up with how he wants his ideal pets to act. In one scene, he forces Stimpy to get on his couch so that he can learn how to be quote-unquote disciplined and, well, just watch.
That's a good boy.
I have no idea how Nickelodeon let this show air in the first place. Eventually, George says that his pets need to learn how to attack. So he puts on this padded bite suit, and Stimpy is reluctant due to him being his owner. Ren, on the other hand, takes full advantage of this and begins beating the ever-living shit out of George with a paddle. So much so that George's head does a full 360 and right eyeball falls out of its socket. Ren continues on his rampage and just doesn't stop beating this man to a pulp. It even shows George with X's for eyes, and we all know what that means. Though he actually didn't die. It's still quite disturbing to add that little detail. But the disturbing parts of this episode don't end there. George climbs out of his suit, breathes like a maniac, and congratulates Ren on being a true champion. The episode ends with all three characters dancing. Yeah. Now, this episode actually never ended up airing on Nickelodeon. It was banned once they saw what it actually contained. But this episode was moved to Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon. And that show was basically a revival of the original, except with very sexual. It was just a very sexual show. I mean, if the creator went from making a kids show and
what the fuck? When did they do? Wait, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But damn. Wow, Ren and Stimpy. Fucking crazy.
Turning that kid's show into a sexual, I mean, I guess we could see where his mind was. Anyway, we could tell that this creator was trying to go with this dark humor, but it just ended up being super creepy for kids, and it was not the right move. Teeth for Two, Cat Dog. Cat Dog ran for 7 years on Nickelodeon from 1998 to 2005. You may recognize Dog's voice since it's Tom Kenny, SpongeBob's voice actor. Teeth for Two is actually a fun concept for an episode where whenever one of them does something, the other one feels it, except it revolves around teeth. Look, I hate the dentist already. Yes, I do go, but just the fact that there's drills in your mouth, pause, nah bro, I just hate everything about the dentist so much. Anyway, the dentist tells them that the food they eat affects the other's teeth, resulting in Cat's teeth to become brown and withered. Cat tries to convince Dog to start eating healthy, but then turns into a battle seeing who can do more damage to the other's teeth. Cat chews on ice, and Dog chews on foil. Later that night, Dog is asleep, and Cat attempts to brush his teeth. He is unable to do so because of all the food in his mouth. So what's the next best option? That's right, traveling inside of their own body to come out as an inside-out cat out of Dog's mouth.
What the fuck? I don't remember this episode. Do you guys remember this fucking episode? Cause what the fuck, bro?
Dog screams of horror and swallows Cat back down to where he's supposed to be. Skipping to the end, they get their teeth fixed but end up getting food allergies from all the junk they ate throughout the entire episode. Never thought I'd see an inside-out cat trying to brush a dog's teeth.
No, for real.
Knuckles and his hilarious problem. The Misadventures of Flapjack. The Misadventures of Flapjack.
Okay, now I'm a little bit. I think I was a little bit older when that came out, and I think we could all tell that fucking Captain Knuckles' ass was just drunk off of fucking maple syrup. Maple syrup had to be that hen dog. You know what I'm saying? That kabasi, that brown.
Flapjack was another show that got away with so much disturbing shit. Personally, as a kid, I loved it just because it was so gross, and I thought that was so funny back in.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm almost kind of with him on that one. Like it was very disturbing, and I think people of a higher age group could tell that was a disturbing ass cartoon that they probably shouldn't have aired. But us as being a little young, oh shit, it was fucking awesome. I loved it.
in the day. I remember pausing it at those funny still frames of like really detailed zoomed in pictures of the characters' faces. Anyway, season 2 episode 4 is Knuckles and his hilarious problem. This episode is about addiction. More specifically, Knuckles' addiction to candy, which has the effects of alcohol, from feeling warm and happy, angry at the world, to depression. The next morning, after Knuckles ingests a bunch of candy, Flapjack realizes that Knuckles has become addicted to the candy, so much so that he hallucinates, sees Flapjack as a lollipop, and tries eating him. Next, Knuckles begins manipulating Flapjack and tells him that he's just fine and he can trust him. Though this only leads to 2 candy rampages where he steals from homes, babies, and a gumball machine. Then we go to this depressing scene showing just how this candy addiction has left Knuckles, getting kicked out of the candy trough, being used as a doormat, and taking any bit of candy he can get, even if it's from a stranger's mouth. Bubby decides to send Knuckles.
The fuck? Oh, that just made me kind of throw up a little bit.
Off to isolation on a piece of the boardwalk into the sea. Here, Knuckles begins hallucinating and imagines a giant Flapjack putting his arms inside of his mouth and vomiting candy into it. Very dark episode if you think about it, especially seeing just how bad the effects of candy have left Knuckles. I really like the episode though. It really makes you aware of just how bad alcohol or any addiction can be.
Yeah, man. No lie.
Earth Mover, Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond released in 1999 and aired on
beautiful Batman cartoon. Still love it to this day. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a throat-ass Batman.
Cartoon Network and WB Kids. Today we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 15, aka Earth Mover. We start with this teenage girl by the name of Jackie hanging with her friends, one of which is Terry McGinnis, aka the Batman after the original Bruce Wayne Batman. She explains that she's been feeling like she was followed and watched by someone. Soon after that, Terry sees a mysterious figure outside through the window. A chase begins, but the figure isn't caught. The next day, Jackie's adopted father gives all 3 of them a ride, but first he says he wants to show them something. That being a piece of land he plans on buying and placing a factory on. An earthquake happens, and again, there was another fight scene. After this, Bill, her adopted father, explains that he thinks it might be Jackie's real father looking for him. He tells the story from many years ago, and while he was trying to dump toxic waste into an abandoned mine shaft, the wire pulling up the container got stuck on a piece of wood and resulted in the entire mine shaft collapsing in on itself. Jackie's father was at the bottom and ended up being crushed by the debris. Not only that, but was covered by the toxic waste. Everyone assumed that he died instantly, and Bill felt so bad that he ended up adopting Jackie, who was only a kid at the time. Fast forward into the episode, and the Earth Mover has trapped both Jackie and Bill underground. During this scene, Jackie finds out what her father actually looks like, and, well... So like the text was saying, I can't show too much due to a copyright claim, but basically, Jackie is horrified seeing that this is her father. I mean, who wouldn't be? Look at the way they drew it. Yeah, that's basically the scene in a nutshell. I mean, even listen to that voice. It sounds like he's struggling to get his words out. He seems to think that Bill betrayed him and left him to die so that he didn't have to split the revenue with a partner. He also sees Bill adopting Jackie as her getting stolen from him. Imagine accidentally dying and then the friend that accidentally killed you adopts your daughter. Bro. Eventually, Batman swoops in and saves the day. The episode ends with this very dark quote.
My father.
He's not your father. Not really. He's a ghost.
Dad.
Damn.
Mooch Master P, Mr. Meaty. Mr. Meaty aired from 2000.
Oh my god, this was a fucking trip of a goddamn show. Mr. Meaty. When this shit would come on, I could not eat food at all. Like, look at their fucking faces, bro. Look at them. They're fucking creepy.
2006 to 2009 and was cancelled due to a mix of low ratings and criticism from adults and vegetarians who protested against the show. Honestly, the show is very lucky it even lasted 3 years considering how ugly all of the characters were. The show followed fast food workers Josh and Parker through their odd adventures. Season 1, Episode 6 begins with Parker quote-unquote mooching off of everyone and eating their food. Josh gets annoyed and tricks him into eating a raw patty. Then, weird things start happening. Like all of the food Parker is about to take a bite out of disappear. Josh records it with a camcorder and slows down the footage. Then we see that a giant tapeworm is living inside of Parker eating all of his food. They decide to get rid of the tapeworm the only way they know how.
I remember this episode. Oh my god, I remember this episode. This shit was so fucking disturbing. Like, this man had a fucking tapeworm in his body. Eating food.
fishing it out of Parker's stomach. They do end up getting it out, and an Australian man comes by and says he'll buy it for his zoo, though he doesn't take it to the zoo. Instead, he swallows it whole in front of them.
We go. Come on in. Oh, that's the stuff.
And says she tickles on the way down. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
King Ramsay's...
Yeah, that one took the cake. That one took the cake right there.
Curse / remembrance of Courage Past. Courage the Cowardly Dog. This list would not be complete without mentioning...
Oh my god, is this the... Return the slab or suffer my curse. If it's this, I'm done. I'm done. That shit sends goosebumps down my spine.
Courage the Cowardly Dog. I could go on and on about all the creepy monsters that gave kids nightmares throughout in the entirety of the series, but I want to mention the one that stuck with me the most, and that's King Ramsay's Curse. In this episode, Eustace does not want to return a historical slab because he hears on the news that it's worth $1 million. A person from the museum it belongs to comes over to take it back and offers Eustace a tote bag. Really, my guy? I'm pretty sure you can legally get it back for free. Then the door gets slammed on him. When it becomes nighttime, they hear a creak at the door and check outside. Then we get King Ramses, who just...
This motherfucker, bro, was so... Oh my god. Just if I hear the voice, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm done.
Just keeps repeating, return the slab or suffer my curse.
Return the slab.
What?
Return the slab or suffer my curse.
I literally... Goosebumps. I have goosebumps. That thing was so fucking wild to me. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Another one was the big ass head. It was like, why did y'all...
It's just such a creepy design, and also it's a 3D model in a 2D animated show. There's so many instances of just plain creepy stuff in this cartoon, but that's what gave it its charm. I feel like Courage the Cowardly Dog definitely let young kids know whether they like the horror genre. So, shout out to Courage the Cowardly Dog for that. I also want to talk about another episode called Remembrance of Courage Past, which is actually the second to last episode of the entire series. This episode is about Courage's parents, which sadly got taken away from him at an early age due to an evil veterinarian. This veterinarian puts Courage's parents in a rocket ship, and Courage can't do anything because he's just a pup. While being chased, Courage hops into the garbage disposal and escapes. He watches as his parents are sent off to space and waves goodbye. We see how Courage is adopted by Muriel and why she decides to name him Courage. Meanwhile, in the present day, the same thing is about to happen to Muriel and Eustace, but luckily, Courage is able to save the day and send the veterinarian to space this time. In space, he finds himself with all the other dogs he has experimented on, including Courage's parents. Those two episodes never left my mind. I think about those episodes to this day. Jurassic Bark, Futurama.
Hey.
This is a little bonus I'm throwing in. The reason I'm throwing this in as a bonus is because one, Futurama wasn't really made for kids. It was a show for young adults. And two, I don't think this episode traumatized anyone. It was just incredibly sad. And if you're a fan of Futurama, you already know what I'm talking about. This episode of Jurassic Bark was...
No. Oh man. Oh bro, I remember this episode too, bro, because this shit really... I wasn't even supposed to be watching this, but I think I was like a kid when I seen this episode, and I literally cried. I literally went to my mom's room and described this episode to her, and I was crying. I was like, Mom, the dog was like waiting for him, and then the dog died, and they were trying to bring the dog back, and it was just... I was just like, wow. Oh my god, this was so sad.
Was the hardest one to rewatch for me. This episode is about Fry's old dog from 1997 named Seymour. In case you guys don't know, Futurama takes place in the year 3000, with Fry being the only person from the year 2000, since he accidentally fell into a cryogenic chamber on New Year's Day. Anyway, Fry finds Seymour as a fossil in a museum, where he then takes home to the professor. The professor explains that he can actually bring back Seymour with new technology, and so Fry begins getting ready for Seymour's return. This includes a doggy bed, a collar, and some chew toys. When the professor is ready to bring back Seymour, Bender throws his body into a pit of lava because he's jealous that Fry will have a new best friend. We get a flashback of Seymour doing everything in his power to find Fry. Seymour eventually finds Fry, but no one in the lab notices that Fry is in there. Even his parents, who go to pick up Seymour. Talk about frustration. Anyway, Bender jumps into the lava pit and retrieves Seymour's body. Seymour didn't burn due to the material covering his body. The professor finds out that Seymour actually lived his full lifespan of 15 years, 12 years after Fry's disappearance. So Fry decides not to bring him back simply because he doubts Seymour even remembers him, and he probably moved on with another family. But wait, here's the kicker. We, the audience, get a
Oh man, I think he said the audio cuts out at this point, so we're just gonna have to deal with my commentary of this. This is just terrible because at this moment right here, Seymour was literally waiting for his owner the whole time. He stayed at the pizza place that he worked at, that Fry worked at, and waited for him seasons on seasons on seasons for years and years, and Seymour waited there for him until he actually passed. And that was
episode was actually nominated for an Emmy in 2003, which, you know, that's just how good the episode was. Sadly, it did not win the Emmy. The Simpsons beat it out, which is also made by Matt Groening. So, Matt Groening, good on you. Yeah, this episode tore my heart out when I watched it.
No, for real, dude.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers. Make sure to go follow me on all.
I hope one day we could do those numbers. Maybe. We're going to. We're going to do it because the TC3 mob is the best. But man, that was a definitely good one, man. Love your content, TV. Love it. Tub TV. But yeah, love your shit, man. Love it. Go subscribe to this channel, man. Cool guy.